Right, we are back. Who is ready for some resin art madness? Now, some of these may not tickle your fancy, but some of them will. I'm going to show you a couple of different methods. So many of you would have seen, I've been kind of playing around with matte resin ideas and the way that light kind of refracts inside the pieces. If you've been following my channel, you would have seen in hashtag 259 where I created this stunning piece, but most of you said you preferred it shiny. But what if we could go halfway? I don't mean like half shiny and half matte. Well, kind of, but not quite. Stay with me, guys. So the first piece, I'm not sure whether you're gonna like it, but it's just something that I've created recently. I like it. I absolutely love it. I'm not sure if you will, but I think we'll find out in the comments. Using the Resin Mockers Clear Hard Type, I'm using my normal cabochon mold, and I'm going with these two. We're going to, again, do this in two parts. So what I'm going to do is just fill these, again, not all the way to the top. I'm going to leave about 1 millimeter from the top and give those a full cure. Out comes the beast. I do believe that Resin Rockers now have the till lamps back in stock. So grab them whilst you can. I'm just going to give that 2-minute cure under my lamp. I know, I did it again. So even with that there, I'm still going to forget. I know it. Oh dear. Right, okay, so we can take these out now. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be uploading as normal next week because I am Maker Central for the first time. The nerves are kicking in, guys. I'm really bad with traveling. My anxiety just rockets up. So I'm going to be a bit of a nervous wreck next week, I think. Pull my mask down. Right, the next step, I'm going to be using the Let's Resin Chameleon Flakes for this. You can do this with nail powders, anything that is going to bounce the light back. You could do this with the little windows, dichroish films, lots of different things. But all I'm going to be doing is using the green Chameleon Flakes. And I'm just going to dust both sides. It doesn't matter if it doesn't stick 100%. Now, for the next step, I'm being brave, I know. It doesn't really matter about the bubbles that I've had in the Galaxy piece that I did. I got rather stressed out with bonding the two pieces together. Now, if you don't have the powerful lamp, like the one that I've got, the Beast, the Magic Cure, you could glue these together with a really strong, like an E6000 glue. It doesn't have to be done with resin because there is that risk that the light isn't going to cure and bond them together properly. So you can glue them and then let the glue dry, but we are going to be doing something with the outside edge which will also help hold these together. I'm just going to bond mine with some UV. Again, I'm not really fussed if there are any bubbles because we're not going to see them. And then I'm going to cure that in place under the Beast. Once that has cured, we have our ball. Flashes really nice colours. Now we are just going to sand it. And for that, I've just got some wet sandpaper. This is a P320 grit. You can go finer if you want. And just sand over the whole piece. Then just give it a clean up with some alcohol. Get rid of all the dust and all the white residue that's left. You'll see that will dry into a nice frosty matte, ready for the next stage. Just quickly, if you've sanded it and cleaned it with alcohol and you see these shiny patches, just give it a bit more of a sand and clean up again. I'm not going to, I'm just going to show you the technique so you know how to do it. Again, you can see these scratches, you can work down with a finer sandpaper to remove that and give it a better finish, but I'm just going to show you with this one. I was going to do two pieces, but what I've decided to do is show you both ways, one on one side and one on the other. So for the one that I don't think everybody's going to like, we're going back to our mold, but we're using these tiny little cavities here, they only take like a drop of resin to fill up. They are so small. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, all my subs and anyone new. And for this, I don't need to get the beast out really. I can just cure that with my handheld torch. So this is what you're going to be left with. These tiny little stubs. Now, the next step, what I was doing, it was quite fiddly because they are so small. I was applying a tiny bit of UV resin on the back of these. Get off. And then adhering it to the piece. And again, just using my flashlight. When you've got the resin on there, it doesn't fall off, trust me. You need to find the middle. Well, it depends on how you want to do it. I mean, you could, I suppose you could kind of mark the piece with a piece of card which is flexible. You could bend it around, or some tape to get kind of a design. So I was doing that and it was just getting really, really fiddly because my hands and fingers are quite big. Then I had this idea. These hole makers from Little Windows, I've used them for what they're intended to actually be used for. But I had a little brainwave and I wondered, these tubes, I think Fran's replacing these tubes for tweezers, but I think these should stay. Fran, if you're watching, please keep the tubes, because this, see that? Really, really handy to be able to stick things on to other things, especially with these. And I'm also thinking, like, when it comes to dipping, we could potentially, if we were dipping in resin, we could use these. It's not going to stick to that because it's matte now. But we could dip with these, in theory. Right, I'm waffling. So, it's so handy. I wish I'd tried this when I made the previous piece. I've just got a small amount of UV resin in this mixing pot. And all I'm going to do is just apply some of that on the back of this, not too much. My resin's set in my cup. So I'm going to start in the middle with mine. Another idea I had. Just reinstate that into the mould. Make sure that the edge is going with the mould, so we know it's in there straight. Then with torch in one hand, this in the other, I can place that in the middle and cure it. There we go. So what you can do is just make a pattern, any pattern of your choice. So I could then place another one up here on the joint, and then at 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, then you can go in between the gaps. You know you're kind of centered and it's matching, it's symmetrical. Then you can work your way around the inside, lining it up with either the gaps or the ones that you've placed. It really does depend on what you want to do. I'm not going to do the whole piece because I've got one that I can show you in a moment. I'm just showing you the technique. So on the other side, the other way that you can do this, which I think you're going to prefer, and I prefer to hold it as I'm doing this. I've got dotting tools, but I'm not going to use them. I'm just using my cocktail stick and just dropping the resin. And what I can do is I can swirl it to make it bigger or keep dotting it, and that will spread that resin out. And cure as you go. You only need to cure it for a couple of seconds with the torch before you move on. And if you go wrong, obviously before you cure it, wipe it off with some alcohol. And again, we can just start dotting different size dots all over the piece. However you like. You can follow a pattern. You can do it any way you want. Big dots, small dots. If you're brave enough, you could go in a couple of places at the same time. and then cure it, and just begin to build your pattern up. And what you can do, I'm going to mess this piece up. It's not going to be a finished piece because I've got another one that I can show you. What you can do, sorry, my phone was vibrating, is you can apply a bigger dot. And then you can draw in points. Like so. Draw in different details. However you like. The way it refracts the light inside is absolutely incredible. So you've got that matte finish, but then you've also got that shine. I think the more you do it, the more kind of control you're going to get over the designs. The way, you know, you're going to get, you will work it out to how you want to do it. And it's really, really therapeutic to do. I sat and made a piece and I got lost. It didn't take too long. I just got lost in the moment. It really is. You can kind of do whatever you want with this. Just manipulate the resin around. It's a really nice swirl there. Play around with it. But it's the finished, what it looks like finished is absolutely incredible. It was only going to be a quick video just to show you this. I mean, I don't have to kind of make a whole piece for you. When I've got finished pieces, I can show you how to do it and then show you the results. So this piece here, I used Fran's, what's this mold? Medium silicone mold. And I tried out the hole makers in this. And they really are easy to use. You just stick them in the mold. Make sure they're lined up. Pour your resin and cure it. And that just pulls out afterwards. Really genius. So this one, I just used that shape mold. Did the same with the chameleon flakes and then backed it with a thin layer of black mica powder. But I glued a heart shape onto this. I have got some bubbles. Ignore them. But when we get closer, you can see it's like a window. It's like a little window inside the piece. And again, you've got that light refraction. I kind of rushed it, but you can do this so much better. It was just as a kind of experiment trial run. But I love the way that you've got both the matte and the shiny in one piece. I could always go around this with more designs, more swirls, more patterns, but I decided not to just because those nasty bubbles inside. Right, got a couple more pieces to show you here of both styles. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, hit is free, hit that button for me. Right, so this is one where I just did the kind of patterns. I'm loving this, and this is a smaller one. I'm absolutely loving the control that we've got. And again, if you cure and go and make a mistake, you can just clean it off and do it again. It's absolutely gorgeous. Love it. I need to play around with different things, but again, that was just the green chameleon powders. Right, so this one is the method that I'm not sure whether you're gonna like. Some have said it looks like a virus. Some have said it looks like something that blows up submarines. They drop in the water. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I do love it. So I mixed it up on this one. I did all of my big areas with the knobbly bits, and then did my smaller dots kind of in the gaps. But I love that. I absolutely love it. So there we go. We can kind of play around a bit more with the matte finish. I'm trying to get you to like the matte finishes. But I think these are super cool. I've never seen them done this way before. They could have been done. I don't know. I've never seen it. But look at that. As always, all links of description, all links of products I've used are in the description box below with discount codes. Have a little play around with it, guys. I'm loving them, and they're really, really strong. This one here, let me show you. I'll just try and pull that off. It's not going anywhere. It's really cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that really quick one. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.